Today we're going to be working on exercise 6, setting text for a chapter book. In this assignment, you'll be taking text and placing it into an InDesign document to format it correctly. The final type exercise, you will be typesetting the text for a chapter book. The text is the first chapter of Robert Bringhurst's The Elements of Typographic Style. The chapter has a series of headers that will need to be designed to create a clear hierarchy and special formatting. This will challenge your typesetting abilities and also allow you to explore the ability to create paragraph styles and character styles in InDesign, which this is required for this assignment. Begin this exercise by reading the provided copy so you can begin to understand the structure of the text. Then start to identify different levels of the headers and sketch out how you might create a typographic system. This is not required. This is an option that you can do before you go into InDesign to set up your document. You must use up to 2 typefaces, and you must work with typefaces mentioned in lectures. Be sure to select typefaces that are readable and appropriate for the content. Make sure that you are creating these systems so that there is a clear hierarchy between different headers levels. Consider capitals versus lowercase, weight, size, leading, typeface. All headers of the same level should be styled the same. You can work on the computer to explore these headings and try out 2 to 3 different options. Also think about how you want to set up your body copy. Sorry. You can work on the computer to explore these headings and try out 2 to 3 different options. Also think about how you want to set up your body copy. Once you have your options and you're happy, begin the flow of text, which I will show you. Create an InDesign document that is 5 by 8 inches vertical with 1/2 inch margins with facing pages. Create text box of the same scale and shape on every page, then start flowing the text. I will show you how to put them on the parent pages so that you don't have to put them on every page. If you put it on the parent page, they will be on all pages. Once you get all the text into the document, you can begin to build the styles. You want to create the first few headers and then define them in the paragraph or character style palettes. I will show you a shortcut on how to format everything first and then go back in and change your headers. Once all the styles have been applied, you can begin making other adjustments to the text, such as fixing bullets, checking the M and N dashes, italicizing type, etc. Your type choices will determine the number of pages. Some typefaces are larger than others, of course. Shapes and graphic elements in addition to type are allowed, but no photographs or illustrations are allowed. Explore typeface choices, indent styles, scale and weight to control hierarchy, utilize space and type styles to build typographic systems. Avoid bleeding off the page, using more than 2 typefaces, or using a type that does not honor the content. Of course, have fun and explore your options, and this is information on how to save it. Here's a student example of how they decided to go ahead and set it up. They went with a sans serif for the title and for the author and publisher information, and then they also decided to go with the sans serif for the header, the subheader 1 and subheader 2, as well as, these are 2 different sans serifs, as well as for the body copy. The page number and the author and publisher are not required. Here is another example that a student used. It's sans serif with a serif, and they use the sans serif for the titles and a serif for the body copy. I'm going to scroll back up to the top where the example and the template is. Okay, so this is the sample, which I've already opened up here, of the book. So I'm going to go up to page 9. So the body copy that you're going to use, with starting with the headers and subheaders and then body copy, start on page 9. It is technically labeled 17. So up here you can jump from page to page by putting a number in, because when you open this, it will be set at this page. You can scroll down to see how the title page looks, and then there's additional information such as the table of contents and such. I'm going to put 9 in here to jump to chapter 1. And you're going to use this as a template or an example so that you know where, to make sure you know where the paragraphs breaks need to be, that you know where the, how to set up, or an idea of how to set up the headers and the subheaders, as well as how you want to make sure that your content is not justified. This is justified, and it does not have any hyphenations. So the difference between your document and this one is definitely going to be no justification and no hyphenations and no sidebars. You do not need that information. And this will go, you'll go all the way down here to, there's some bullet points that you can decide how you want to format. And this will end right here with the last word being itself. I'm going to go back to the assignment and show you what you're going to use to take into InDesign. Here's the content. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to InDesign and set up the document. In here, it says to set up the document by creating a 5x8 vertical document, half-inch margins with facing pages. So I'm going to go to InDesign. I'm going to create a new document. And I already have 5x8 vertical. And I have 15 pages in here because it's about that long, when depending on how you format it, with facing pages and a half-inch margin. So I'm going to say create. And here we have the document, and I will click on pages, and we have 15 pages. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and put in a text box. So I'm going to double click on the parent page. I'm going to open this up just a little bit so we can look at this for a little while before we go back to the assignment. I already have a text box. I'm going to click inside the margin, and I'm going to make a text box the same size as the margins. And I'm going to go over here and make another one on the other page. So because these are on the parent page, you will not be able to access them technically on the regular pages. As you can see now, you have this little dotted line on the pages. I'm going to double click on the first page, and because it's on the parent page, you can't just select it. What you'll have to do is press Shift Command and click on the box. To get inside the box, you double click. Now you can put any type in here you'd like. I'm going to go back to the assignment. I'm going to go get those, because we just created the text boxes. I'm going to go get the information from the template. First thing I'm going to do is going to press Command A to select all. Then I'm going to go back to InDesign, and I'm going to click inside the box, and I'm going to press Command V. And for some reason, I'm going to undo that. It did not. Oh, Command A should select all. Oh, I forgot to press Command C. Command C. Go back to InDesign, Command V. And it decided to select it all. We do not need page number 1. So now we have all of the document information. It took everything in that document, which was many, many pages long, and it put it in this one text box. And in order to flow the information, which was one of the requirements, We're going to go down to this little red plus sign here, which tells me there's more text in the boxes. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to go to the next text box on page 2 and click inside of it, and it automatically flows or brings the rest of the information that wouldn't fit in the first box into the second. And we're going to keep doing this until all of the text has been put in and we can't go any further. So I'm going to keep clicking on the red plus sign and keep going down to each page in order until that red dot is gone, or I'm sorry, plus sign. And I think it goes down all the way to page 11, actually page 9. So now we don't have any more plus signs and we don't have any more errors at the bottom. I'm going to go back up to the first page, and I'm going to decide how I want to format my first page. Actually, I'm going to show you that shortcut I was going to tell you about. So I'm going to Command A and select everything. As you can see, it selected everything by pressing Command A, select all. And I'm going to choose what my body copy is going to be, because it's easier for me to format everything at once to the body copy and then go back and change the headers later. So I'm going to have my body copy be Arial, and I think I want it to be Arial regular. And then I'm going to create a paragraph style. So I'm going to press the plus sign, and that added the paragraph style. I'm going to double click on it now and call it body copy and press OK. Now I want to decide how I want to format my title page. So I'm going to copy this and put it over here on the artboard and pull it over here and see how I want to format this. I think I want this to be Bodoni. Let me type that in, Bodoni. And let's do Bodoni. What do we have? Bodoni. Maybe not Bodoni. How about Baskerville? Baskerville has a regular and a bold. So I'm going to do Baskerville bold. And I want it to be like maybe 36. Let's try 36. And as you can see, I have that plus sign again. I like that. So that's going to be my title page, my title information. So I'm going to create a character style. This is my character style here. I'm going to hit the plus sign. I'm going to double click on that style, and then I'm going to call it title and press OK. And then I'm going to choose my publishing information, and I'm going to do Baskerville, maybe semi-bold. Let's try that. And then maybe 18. No, I think that's too big. Let's do 14. I'm going to put a return in here so I can separate them. And then I'm going to go in here and add another character style and call this Publisher. Say OK. And as you can see, I have still this information over here that I haven't formatted yet. I'm going to decide on how I want my headers to be. I'm going to copy this over here again, press the V, Command C, Command V. I'm going to make this a little bit, oops, undo, Command Z to undo. I'm going to choose my first one, and I think I want this to be a serif, so I'm going to pick Arial. I'm going to pick Arial bold, and I want it to be like 18. And I think there was a 1 in there that we lost. So now I'm going to pick this whole section here, my header, and I'm going to create another character style. I'm going to call it header and press OK. And then I'm going to choose my subheader, and I'm going to do regular 12. I'm going to keep it at 12. So I'm going to add that as a subheader. So I added it, right? Did I just add it? I don't see it here. Let's do it again. There we go. Double click on it and say subheader and say OK. And then I'm going to choose this one, subheader 2. I'm going to keep it at Arial, but I'm going to do italic. And I'm going to add that one and call it subheader 2. And say OK. And now I have my title page and my subheaders and headers. Next, I'm going to go and decide, I think I'm going to keep this as Arial, regular. So now I'm going to go to my title page. I'm going to choose title and press return. I'm going to choose publisher, and then I'm going to choose, I'm going to hit return, header. I'm going to choose subheader and subheader 2. I want my title to be down farther, like that, and I'm going to bring it down a bit, and then bring this down a bit, and then put my 1 in there, and push this down a bit to the next page. Alright, next we need to go to the example. So I've gone over to the example. I'm looking how they have it formatted. I'm going back up to where chapter 1 starts, and I'm going to bring this over so I can have them side by side and start figuring out how I need to fix this. So I know that there's going to be some hard returns in here, and here's the hyper. Okay, so here's the hyphen. So I need to go to my body copy and fix that, and I need to turn off hyphens, which I think it's right here, hyphens, and say OK. And that worked. It took out the hyphens. So now I need to make sure that there's no hard returns in here, like right here. Here's a hard return that needs to be fixed. And I need to also make sure I start putting in where the indentations are. So I'm putting an indentation there. I'm checking to make sure this is correct, and an indentation there. Looks like there might be a hard return there I need to take out. I'm placing my cursor right in front of it and then taking it out. And then the next one is these. It looks like there's another hard return there and a hard return by milk. Oops, undo. I want to keep that in there. Milk, space. Put that away. It looks like there might be one by writer. And these needs an indentation. And so we're just going to keep going down until we get to looks like there's a hard return there, but it was. And I'm looking for where in 17. Looks like there needs to be a hard return here with an indentation, and then looks like there might be a hard return here, and make sure that the function is the next place where there's an indentation, and there's a hard return there, and looks like a hard return there, and a hard return here, and then we have our subheader 1. No, this is subheader 2. So I'm going to highlight that and go over to my character style and go subheader 2. Oh, it looks like there might be a hard return here too. And there's one there. And one here. Just keep working on this till you get it to make sure there are no hard returns in any of these. You might want to go to each line and just double check. There are no hard returns on any of these. Now we need to, I forgot to go up here and make sure this was italicized. So I'm just going to go over to Arial down here at the bottom and say italics. And make sure that's all formatted correctly according to this information over here. So just keep going through this and taking out the hard returns, making sure that you have changed your subheaders and your headers, your subheader 1, your subheader 2, taking out all hard returns, making sure there's no orphans or widows, and formatting this how you would like to go ahead and format this. So I was just going to push this down a little bit and go back to the student example down here. And if you wanted to, you could format it in the same way that the student formatted theirs. They put some hard returns in there. And they decided they wanted a lot of returns in between their information. So make sure that if you're going to do that there, that you do that with this one as well, that you put a return space in between there and there. And if you find that this starts at the second line, when you've pushed it down and you like how all this looks and it's all correct, bring it up to the top. Don't let it be a line down. Make sure everything starts at the top. And as you can see, this is going to need a lot of work, and you need to take out a lot of these hard returns and fix this. So keep working on that and correct everything. And if you have any questions, let me know.